What's good, YouTube? SlimTv here to put a center to on this new topic. Today we're talking about NEETs. All right, so a NEET is basically, well, I mean, the article is going to tell us what a NEET is, but just what gave me the idea for this video was that I was on my phone. I clicked on Google. You know how Google has like the news and stuff and like kind of the things that like you get recommended. I got recommended an article about a NEET. So I'm like, what the hell is a NEET? NEET, a NEET. I click on the article and it basically starts talking about how people, particularly in this generation, do not have a job, no type of employment. But we're going to read the article and I'm going to go through it. Let's check it out. This was published June 21st, 2024. So this is relatively new, actually really new, like 5 days ago. So Gen Z's latest and greatest contribution to the culture, doing nothing. A growing number of Zoomers are refusing to embrace adulthood, according to statistics. Choosing to be NEETs, Fortune reported. NEET stands for not in employment, education, or training, and the lifestyle is thought to be contributing to record levels of youth unemployment around the world. So, not in employment, education, or training. Guys, as soon as you leave high school, it's pretty much time to get to work. Now, I know a lot of people, they have this whole thing about, well, I don't want to just get into the rat race, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that. Look, everybody has to start somewhere, and the beginning of your story is the best part, because when you get towards the end of it, you should be miles ahead, if that makes sense. The beginning of your story is where all the hard work begins. So what I'm saying is, you cannot be afraid of work. Work is the beginning of all things. If you are afraid to get out there and get employed, and if you're choosing to just be a NEET, which really, that's another thing. I mean, these little acronyms that try to make these things sound cool. Look, replace NEET with loser, because that's what you are if you're not in employment, education, or training. Furthermore, be smart about your decisions, okay? College is not the only answer, and you don't have to go as soon as possible. There are people who are 26, 27, 28, just now getting into college. They're going to be out of college by like 32 with a bachelor's degree. It is okay. It's okay. It's best for you to find a entry-level job. If you're not sure what you want to do with your life after high school, find an entry-level job that has some type of training to go along with it. Even if it's just simple forklift training, get in a warehouse and start there. I know it's kind of depressing. I know it's kind of annoying. And I know you're used to that life of being a child and getting on the game every night and all of that. But we have to start somewhere. About 1/5 of people ages 15 to 24. So 1 in 5 people ages 15 to 24 in 2023 are currently classified as NEETs, according to the International Labor Organization. So presumptuously, 1 out of 5 people that you meet is a NEET if you get out much. Then again, I guess you wouldn't meet them that often because they're always at home either jacking off or playing the game or doing something weird. It's not exactly clear what is causing sizable Gen Z cohort to ditch the workforce, but research has frequently shown that the group is struggling to hit life's traditional milestones since they're earning less and accumulating more debt. Now, debt is relatively easy to avoid. Now, depending on your situation, you may have had to open a credit card so you could get certain things, but you need to be able to have a job to back that credit card. You should not be opening a credit card if you do not have stable income running behind it. The credit card can be a scam or it could be a benefit to you. It's a scam because, well, not really even a scam because you're doing it to yourself, but you pay some stuff off, or you pay for something with your credit card, it accumulates interest, and then you have to pay off the interest plus the credit card. Be careful, but if you use the credit card wisely, it can build credit for you, and then you're able to get more stuff. So it's a double-edged sword. Be aware of that. Be aware of that, and think about credit. Credit is really easy. It's a really simple concept. Just go on Google, look it up, read a couple articles about it, whatever, and you'll pretty much be not an expert, but you'll be fluent in it. You'll be fluent in credit, okay? Again, use your credit card, buy something, pay it off right away. And if you can, set up your bank account to where your credit card just takes the money off of your debit card automatically. And again, I've touched on college. You do not have to go to college right away. But if you know what you want to do after high school, you do not have to go to university. Guys, they try and glamorize university with, parties. If you're a dude, a bunch of women that are throwing themselves at you, which I'm not going to lie. I mean, the women up at university do be going crazy. Parties, women, drinks, and freedom. They sell you freedom, but really you're going into debt. You're going into debt if you do not have a plan. So get as many scholarships as you can if you're in high school right now and you're trying to figure some stuff out. A recent study from credit reporting agency TransUnion found that people in their 20s are taking home a salary of about $45,500, while millennials were earning $51,852 at their age when adjusted for inflation. Okay, yeah, so that's about 10,000 more. I can do math, bro. I can do math. I'm just ballparking about 10,000 more. So yeah, that is a big difference. In November 2023, a survey related that Gen Z and millennial adults are facing more difficulties than their parents did when it comes to achieving milestones in the workforce. Of the 1,039 young adults surveyed, aged between 18 and 34, 55% said it's much harder to buy a home, 44% said it's harder to find a job, and 55% said it's harder to get promoted, according to the Youth and Money in the USA poll by CNBC Generation Lab. With young people earning less and facing inflation, economic hardships, many are just trying to keep their heads above water. I'm just focusing on the present because the future is depressing. Annette Suvages, a 27-year-old account executive in public relations, previously told Fortune, and hustle culture and girl bossing. I don't even know what that means. And hustle culture and girl bossing that ran rampant in millennial culture now seems dated and out of style. Many in the younger generation would prefer to protect their peace rather than give in the corporate world. Some of the Zoomers want to work. They just don't want a whole career. So that statement right there is not wise to me. Some of the Zoomers want to work, but they just don't want a whole career. So a lot of people have this delusion of grandeur. And I actually talked about in one of my videos, accept your delusions of grandeur, right? But there's always a positive and a negative side to everything. So yeah, I do believe that you should focus on your dreams, and have a goal. That's really the point. Acknowledge your delusions of grandeur, but have a goal behind it. But some people, they just sit back and have a dream about working for themselves or becoming an entrepreneur or doing this internet thing without having anything to back it up. You have to have something to back up whatever you're dreaming. So if I dream of owning land in the future, I need to start now to make money and eventually get into a career where I can make even more money so I can put up a lot of money and save. And then after that, I would need to find people that know how to actually live off the land, learn from them, and learn how to and get people to install lights and electricity and tally up the numbers on how much that would actually cost. I mean, there's things that you have to really think about. You can't just have a delusion of grandeur about, oh, okay, well, I want to work, but I don't want a career, so I guess what I'm going to do is just be a loser for 10 years, sit on my ass, and be a NEET, and just dream about it. That makes no logical sense. The 2023 study showed that 40% of those surveyed prefer to pursue less traditional economic opportunities. See, entrepreneurship, like I was just talking about. I know the deal. I'm a Gen Z too. This includes jobs that are more laid back with no regular overtime, antisocial working hours, or any substantial responsibilities. Others are shying away from office culture. Teaching has become one of the hottest careers for motivated Gen Z grads, where pay is low but vacation is long. Okay, see, so but that wouldn't make them a NEET though. That wouldn't make them a NEET. If people are going after being a teacher, that wouldn't make you a NEET. That would just make you you're an employed person. So I don't understand why they're adding this in the article. I support that. More people going to teach, but then again, teaching because of vacation hours isn't really a smart move, because you're getting paid for it, right? But you're not earning a lot, and then in this economy, I'm sure that along with the vacation hours, you actually want to take a nice vacation. I mean, shoot, if I was a teacher, I would want to teach, those months, and then I get 2 months to go out of the country. But teachers aren't making that type of money anyway. So it seems like it's really just about being lazy. At the same time, Gen Z is facing a mental health crisis, leading them to call in sick to do the jobs they're willing to do way more often than Gen X. Youth worklessness due to ill health is a real and growing trend. It is worrying that young people in their early 20s just embarking on their adult life are more likely to be out of work due to ill health than those in their early 40s. Researchers at the think tank Resolution Foundation previously told Fortune. Okay, so yeah, the mental health thing is a real issue, and that simply just comes from. Let me scroll up, bro, because we see these ladies down here promoting. Well, yeah, yeah. Let me just scroll up. Is that it? Looks like that's the whole. Yeah, so just my thoughts on this article alone. Mental health is an issue. It is an issue for sure. I think that it's really just from people not willing to get out more, and not enjoying life to its fullest, And honestly, I'm guilty of that too. I'm a homebody. I'd rather be home. But there comes a time and point where you have to accept that there's a bigger world out there than just your basement, or there's a bigger world out there than just your house. We're out here working. We're supposed to be out here working. I don't know about these NEETs, but people out here working, people out here grinding. And the real reason that people do that is because they're chasing a sense of freedom. Money affords you freedom. That's the only reason people work. If money didn't afford you freedom, no one would work, because there would be something else that they could do to get freedom, right? But if your goal is to be free and to live a life that you aspire to live, then there has to be a middle ground to where you say, you know what, I'm going to have to work, but I'm going to have a plan behind where I'm working and what I'm doing. Again, avoiding debt. Making sure that you are actually getting out more. Making wise decisions. That is what is the cause of a lot of this mental illness. It's just a lack of wise decisions. And people, instead of turning to more practical matters to solve some of their issues, whether that's childhood trauma or whether that is, them being poor in the moment or them just not feeling motivated, they turn to drugs, weed, alcohol, all of the above to try and fix something that is internal. That goes to the issue that many people try to use external factors to fix an internal issue. But the prevention is better than the cure. And the prevention is finding things that you authentically like to do in high school, right? And that's not hard. That is free. See, what happens in high school is that we get caught up in this crabs in a barrel mentality of trying to fit in instead of being who you truly are, whether you're at home or whether you're at school. Now, I was definitely guilty of trying to fit in with the crowd to an extent at high school. I would say a little less than others. I mean, I never smoked. I don't drink, and I'm not really a big party guy, right? But there were things that I did in high school where I tried to be cool or tried to fit in with everybody else. I won't even say I wasn't cool, but I was the guy who could, like I wasn't in a clique. I wasn't in like one group, but I could like bounce around and be in like multiple groups of people. Like I was just chill like that, and people liked me, but I still tried to fit in certain aspects. I can't necessarily think of them right now, but I know that I did. So I'm just going back over this article. One of the points I had earlier was that people try and give these words acronyms to make them sound cool, or make it seem like it's something that's normal. This is not normal. Not in education, employment, or training. What are you on the earth for if you're not doing something productive? You're just wasting your life. Imagine dying and you meet God or whoever you believe in, and they're like, so when I made you, I was thinking that you would use your abilities to build something excellent. But then they pull out a little remote, right? They pull out a little remote click the godly TV on, turn it to channel whatever your name is. Let's say your name is a J. They turn it to channel J, and we're sitting back watching you take 4 and 5 days to sleep, and you're just forced to sit there and watch that, the most boring display of life ever. Do you really want that? Now, if you have a job and if you're actually doing something, you know what? Be a NEET on the weekend. Do that. Or on your off days, be a NEET. Pretend to be a NEET. But actually have something going in the background. So I got this video here by these guys, man. They got a lot of subscribers. Millennia Thinker. They do like these cool little animations, man. And I didn't even know that this was a thing. This came out like a year ago. This video came out a year ago, but it just goes through like the life of a NEET. So let's check it out.
Everything seems fine, but right now, we are looking for someone with higher education.
So I'm assuming that that's him going through like multiple interviews. That's why the background was changing, and he's been through this many times before.
Just like that.
Yeah. You wanted to work. Now you see.
So
okay. So the video starts off with his 3 friends, right? And this is why it's so important when they say show me your friends and show me your future. You're surrounded by 2 losers, right? 2 NEETs. A damn NEET. I can't believe it. Surrounded by 2 losers. Where do you think you're gonna end up? Where are you gonna go? I mean, I won't even call him a full loser because at least he's out there trying. You do not let the world uninspire you. Do not let the world make you become downtrodden. You have to keep trying, bro. It doesn't matter how many jobs you go through. Keep trying. Keep putting yourself out there. And with jobs like McDonald's and Burger King, bro, honestly, you should never be out of a job. Because they're always hiring and people are always quitting. There's at least 10, 20 McDonald's around you at all times. I mean, sheesh, bro. We gotta come up with more practical solutions.
tomorrow you have a day off.
Obviously.
That's cool. We can hang around and smoke or something.
Guys, how it's like here?
Pretty chilly actually.
It's alright. The first year is the hardest.
Yeah, at first you may feel that something is missing, and after some time you just lose track of time and you just stop thinking about it.
It was different for me. I didn't give a damn about anything, and then I had certain moments when I went to bed and I had panic attacks. Sometimes I was waking at night with my heart pumping.
And
nothing. I figured it was better than losing your health working yourself to death.
Based.
Nigga, he said based. Bro, you're waking up with your heart pumping, bro. Anxiety is not normal. I've had anxiety before. Like, I've had it to where I forgot what happened to me. I think, oh yeah. It's a long story, bro. But long story short, basically, like, it wasn't even mental problems. Like, but I was overthinking a situation so much to the point where I would wake up with, like, having, like, my heart would be beating out of my chest and, like, my palms would be sweaty. That's not normal. That means that your body is in fight or flight mode. So, obviously, he was having some type of contention in his mind about not being employed.
I had the same.
I'm telling you, man, these normies spend all day at work in some corporation, just to have a chance for a better future, and the truth is that nothing is certain.
yeah.
Of course, it is. People work all their lives and what do they get? Not even a thank you, just get kicked out of their job after all years of hard work because it is better to hire some younger worker in your place for whom there are subsidies.
In fact, let me tell you this, humans don't need as much in their life.
Tell him, bro.
Well, I have easy access to tap water, there is the internet, girls are also there, food whatever how bad is, you will not die of hunger anyway. So why even bother? I can live at my own pace, and I don't need too much.
But you still live with your parents.
And what?
You are dependent on them. Without their help, you would not have as easy a time as you have now.
I would get a pension or dole.
Pension? You haven't worked a single day for 30 years.
I had a job, on holidays in 2015.
And how was it?
Not so bad. I remember that after we closed a bar, we always take all unfinished bottles, and went to house parties with them. I saved a lot of money with that. Oh yeah, those were the best days.
But she's still hanging around at the back of the high school.
Yes, but now it's something else.
Why?
It's a bit of a hassle when you have to buy all alcohol every time.
And it doesn't bother you somehow?
What do you mean?
So the logic that they're spewing here, like when they said that, you know, life is uncertain and people are working all this time for a better life. Again, at least they're trying, right? But furthermore, if life is uncertain, why would you be sitting around doing absolutely nothing if life is uncertain? If anything could happen at any moment, you want to die doing absolutely nothing and and pretending that you're satisfied? You know, it's a shame. And then when this dude with the big nose, with the awkward, like, he has two different noses. Anyway, when he was talking about, you know, you have the internet and you have girls on the internet and this and that, none of that's real. You know, like, you guys that watch this channel, I appreciate you guys for watching this channel first and foremost. I appreciate that. But you guys that watch this channel, you don't know me from a can of paint. You know, you might like what I'm saying on the camera, but off camera, you don't know what I'm like. So, in theory, or I guess not in theory, but I'm not really real to you. Like, you know I exist, but I'm not really real because you've never met me in person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not... You don't know me like how other people know me. Like, to other people, I'm in 4K. The people that know me in real life, I am a living human being. But to you guys, I'm just a head on the screen. So, that's another problem, man. People getting used to something that's not real or artificial, and then turning around and wondering while they're having mental and panic attacks. It's because you haven't felt anything of substance in a long time. There hasn't been anything in your life that is really meaningful, because this internet crap, man, while you can meet cool people on there, you can be inspired by many people on the internet, it's still not real unless you go out and enact the things that you learn. Let's continue.
Being a NEET.
No.
I support you on that statement.
Aren't you ashamed?
What should I be ashamed of?
You know, this. In front of family and friends.
I'm not seeing my old buddies anymore, but if something happened, I have always an excuse for any question.
Like what, for example?
Crypto.
Right. And you?
My father got used to it. My mum sometimes take a jab at me, but I found a way to slip under the radar.
For 5 years?
Yeah, easy peasy.
Teach me, master.
Somehow I can't believe you can just slip under their radar for a half a decade.
It is pretty easy actually. At the beginning, after his work, my father just stood at my door and stared at me menacingly. Later, they started to talk with me about my future at the table, so I just started to eat in my room. Then I found out that if I was polite and did all the chores, they would have nothing on me. I quickly realized that all they're talking about my lack of work starts with either dirty room or left dishes. That's why you have to be smart and agile like a dragonfly. Avoid blows, and do not respond aggressively.
How about just getting your own spot? This guy is coming up with all these tactics. Like, bro, these are tactics that you come up with when you're like 13, 14, when you're tired of your mom and dad getting on you about stuff. You're like, okay, well, if I do this and this and that, they'll leave me alone. I can get on the game and they can't say anything. Like, check it out, bro. I still live with my parents, but I mean, I'm pretty much moving towards getting out, you know. I just graduated and everything from college, just to put a little bit of my business out there. So I'm getting ready to get out within the year, right? But you should not be content with just sitting on your ass and siphoning from your parents when you're over 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. In this society and in this economy, it's hard. It's harder to get things by yourself, you know, and I would recommend roommates if you're having trouble. Get you a roommate or two, get out there and start. You know, there's nothing wrong with asking for help, but with your parents especially, I mean, you've been living with them for 20 plus years, right? They've cared for you. They put a roof over your head. Shouldn't you want to go out and expand from that? You've lived pretty much the same life for 20 years. There's more out there. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. They don't realize that there is more. Instead, they just want to accept this little box that they call home and try their best to hold on to it as much as possible. But even using their logic in the video, they're talking about anything could happen at any moment. If this guy's parents died, what's he gonna do? What does he have to his name to actually go out there and create something or build some type of wealth for himself, or at least survive? I mean, he already has the homeless man look. All he needs is a curbside and a couple prostitutes walking back and forth on the street corner. That's all he really needs. And he'll be right at home. There may be a box if he's lucky, but I hear that they robbing people of boxes now too. And don't even get me started on them fighting for which spot, who's going to get the spot under the bridge. I mean, shit.
If they enter your room and try to talk to you, just nod and let them speak. Later, they won't feel like sitting with you anyway, and they'll go and do their own business.
Very good plan, very nice.
Years of practice.
I don't know if it's such a good life plan.
What is better? Working all day long just to pay taxes on some strangers and their children.
What children?
How many times when I leave the house I see these mothers and their 4 or 5 kids running around like wild animals. Each of them probably gets some kind of state aid for a large family. And sometimes they even get divorced on purpose and shacking up together just to collect additional benefits for single mothers.
Yeah, paying for someone else's children is a form of cocking. Are you a cock?
No.
Well, neither am I, and I'm not going to work my ass off so some strangers have more than me.
And what will happen when your parents will not be able to pay for you? No one lives forever.
My parents are in their mid-50s, so they still have time.
I don't know how old my parents are.
Okay, but when they are 70 years old, what then? Are you going to be afraid that maybe it's their last day?
Who lives only 70 years nowadays? Average is what? 85? 90?
It can't be that high.
I once heard that there was a woman who lived 110 years.
Well, that will be 50 years of receiving a retirement pension. My parents are still working, so I still have some time.
My mother earns a lot. She will have a high pension.
I live a lot.
I mean, so they're talking about family and stuff, and that whole conversation was just selfish. They're like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be paying for a bunch of strangers anyway. I mean, you got to be smart with who you marry, of course. So now, so basically, what this is showing is that NEETs, by and large, have just a displeased disposition with life. There's another word I wanted to use, but I'd be learning all these different words, so I'd be forgetting a lot. But they are displeased or dissatisfied with life as a whole. It's not just about working. It's something more than that they are either willing or unwilling to accept. And they just don't want to go through the rows of life. And what they fail to realize is that when you look at somebody else's life, yeah, it may seem normal on the surface, right? Like they go to work, they go home, and they do this, but everybody's life is different. That's why everyone thinks different, because everybody's life is supposed to be different. So yeah, while it may seem like, yeah, Jerry goes to work and then he comes home and then he takes a nap, what may really happen is, yeah, Jerry goes to work, has a very productive day. Because of his mindset and what he does, he has a very productive day. He meets a couple new clients. He gets in his nice car, drives around a little bit, maybe goes to his favorite restaurant, does some of the things that he enjoys, and then goes home and reads his 3-year-old kid a book before he goes to bed. I mean, even though that seems simple, to Jerry, that's excellent. So it's all about creating a life and realizing that you can mold your life to the specifications that you want it to be if you put in the work beforehand. You have to be motivated, and you have to have some type of drive and also some type of brain cells about you. Because people who use this logic, really do not accept the nuances that life brings to you. People always want to put life in a black or white category, but refuse to acknowledge the gray area in between. Let's continue.
What for?
Go back to your parents and tell them there is a difficult economic situation, inflation, and such, and just chill for a few months.
And then?
Time will verify.
Being this carefree must be nice.
Of course it is. And why stress? The government wants you to be under constant health problems all the time only for you to die prematurely, so they don't have to pay you your pension.
Like in the case of your parents.
If you don't like it, just go on and work all day in your low-wage job, so I can have more tendies.
Apparently so, but I'm not going to flip burgers for the bare minimum.
Well, college spoiled all of us.
A little bit.
So why don't you just join us? Come on, it'll be fun. You will meet new friends, we'll sit here, talk and pirate a few games, it'll be fun.
And then?
Whatever happens, happens.
Just before I start talking again, I believe in having a carefree mindset. But see, the quotes like "whatever happens, happens," and "just let go," those are also a double-edged sword as well. Because when you think about things like that, but you're not doing anything productive, all that means is just sit here and just hope and wait and pray that $1,000 falls from the sky. Whatever happens, happens. But if you're actually putting in the work and you get nervous about what you've done, right? Maybe you did a project or you have a presentation ready for your firm or whatever, wherever you work for. You have a presentation, and then you've done everything. You've studied, you practiced your presentation. Then a saying like "whatever happens, happens" is more applicable because you've put in the work behind it. And at this point, it's just up to the performance and, everything going smoothly and the people liking the performance. Whatever happens, happens. Or maybe you've just got a house. You have a family started, and then, you've had a dog for 15 years. And someone says the saying, just let it go. Because that the dog is nearing its end, but you've had excellent times with the dog, but it's just like, just let it go. You gotta just let it go. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important to put those phrases into context and not let people use this hippie mentality on you about, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing, it's not gonna all be all right if you're not doing things to make it all right. So there's a balance between being a forward thinker as well as being carefree. I would like to describe myself as more of a carefree guy, but I'm also forward thinking. I'm at least thinking about the future and trying to make plans towards that future. I'm not perfect, but everybody got to start somewhere, man. Let's continue.
I agree, it was fun at first. I was able to do things for which I had no time before. Everyone is rushing forward, and I'm standing still. No goals, no meaning, just pure fun, or so I think. The morning coffee at 12 o'clock tastes a little different now, more bitter than sweet. Can I go back after all these years? My CV has large holes in it, so it will be very difficult to explain to my future employers. Well, I have to go back to my computer. The internet won't watch itself.
Was it worth it, son?
That's facts. Every habit we cultivate can become our greatest asset or a curse. That's real, man. And I just want to point out how he was just sitting there on the internet, days in, days out. Replace that with times that you were laying in your bed watching anime all day, days in, days out. Again, if you have a job, be a NEET on the weekends on your day off. Do what you want. You know, I would also recommend at least doing something to where you can potentially make money from it. I mean, in your free time, that is. Start trying to build something on the side. I mean, the internet is a great tool if you use it wisely. Even this YouTube channel, man. I'm about to reach 200 subs, but at least I'm putting something out there. Imagine 5 years from now. I mean, I'll only be 27. So 5 years from now, if I'm consistent, I imagine I'll at least be at 10K at least. If I'm consistent. So every day, and I heard somebody else say this, but you take that snowball, you put it on the hill full of snow, and you just roll it a little bit each day. You roll it. Snow accumulates on that snowball. Eventually, you got a big snowball. You got a big MFer on your hands. And so that can be whatever you want it to be if you start working on it now. You don't have to start off with some grand gestures. Start off small. In the meantime, have a journal while you are going through the process of building something. Have a journal to where you're writing down ideas, and then you have sub ideas. So let's say for this channel, for instance, right now this is a small channel. My sub idea for the channel is maybe start a brand off of it. Start a brand, and then after that, maybe I could start some type of community, start a Discord. I mean, have small sub goals in between, and take your time, and don't be worried about the outcome. Just be proud of yourself that you're actually doing something. And if you're doing it in the right way, the results will come eventually. But using this downtrodden logic and this disheartening logic about life, and using that to allow yourself to become something less than a couch potato, is not going to help you in the long run. In fact, all it's going to do is allow you to sit and rot faster. And then you look back 10 years from now and you're like, dang, I just wasted my whole 30s being a NEET. And honestly, it's partially the parents' fault, because allowing your child to be in your home and not have anything going from themselves should be a crime. They're in your home and they're not even clocking into a job, just eating off of you, and it's just because that you love them so much that you're allowing that. Nah, that's not love, man. Shoot, man, there are even like people that are disabled that are coming into work. There are even people that are disabled and or mentally ill that have a large following on Instagram, making some type of money, helping the household. So how come you can't? How come you can't, man? But that's it for this video, man. I don't think I have much else to say. This is real sad, though, to see something like this. But I guess this is what people want. But like, subscribe, share, comment. I love you guys. Peace.